Everyone, welcome to another brand new episode of Webinar Community Banking Podcast. I've got Kylie with me. Kylie, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Absolute pleasure. The pleasure is mine that you have agreed to be on the podcast, taking out 30 minutes from your busy schedule. So thank you for doing that. Quick introduction who Kylie is. Kylie is one of the youngest CMOs I've ever known in the credit union ecosystem. And that's the reason I find very relatable. So she's CMO of United Federal Credit Union, been in the marketing and advertising industry for almost more than 12 years right now.
Hmm.
Prior to United, she had spent some years in Honor. Right now, she leads marketing, like all things marketing at United Federal. I don't know, Kylie, if I was able to do justice to your introduction, but again, I'm not a professional podcaster, so that's the best I can do. So if you want to add something,
That was
please feel free.
perfect. That was perfect.
You are too kind then. Okay, cool. Let's start the podcast with basic question, right? Let's talk about your journey, right? I mean, what has been your journey so far? What made you become a CMO at 30s? I would want to know more.
Yeah. So I got started in the marketing and public relations space, very specifically in public relations. I was working for a smaller credit union at the time, leading their public relations efforts, largely in the community impact space. And really just my career kind of grew and expanded into more functions of marketing from there. Eventually, it expanded into leading external communications, internal communications, as well as traditional digital marketing. I joined the United team about 6 years ago now, which is kind of crazy, and have been leading the team here since. Also, lead the product development space as well.
Understand. So that has been your journey. Interesting
Yeah.
one, right? Uh, let's move on to what keeps you going. I mean, because there's a lot to do. I mean, your credit union is not a small shop; it's a decent sized shop, right? So what keeps you going?
Yeah, so United is just about 4.3 billion, so certainly not small, and their every day is different. So I think, one of the things that drew me into the credit union space and has kept me here was really that ethos of like the place that we serve in the economy and in the communities, right? And to be able to lead the front line of bringing more members into the institution through marketing and communication it's just really rewarding. And as a leader, I think my motivation has shifted into, the output and the what we're doing into the people that make it happen. So I lead an outstanding team at United, and I think it's a little cliche, but that's kind of what keeps me going is just the people that I am privileged to work with.
Understand. I mean, that makes sense. Let's talk about your role, right? I mean, I'm a huge brand guy. I mean, very weird, a computer science engineer loving brands. Doesn't really happen, but somehow I love brands, right? So I personally feel the role of a CMO is evolving and evolving very fast, right?
Hmm.
Gone are the days. I mean, I'm a fan of billboards. Yeah, amazing. I mean, a few days back, I saw an amazing billboard in SF for a local credit union. I was amazed by it. But again, billboards are important, but still, advancements are important. You need data. You need basic table stakes, right? So how have you seen the role of a CMO evolving in the recent years? Especially as member expectations shift, right? I mean, if you want to get someone like me, you have to fight really hard because I'm a huge fan of Chime on one hand and another fan of Revolut on the other. So to get me, it's not difficult. It's not easy, right? I mean, people like me. So how do you think as a CMO the role has evolved and how is it going?
Yeah. Well, I think you hit it spot on. One of the biggest evolutions is actually consumer demand. So we have to adjust how we are thinking about connecting with members, prospective members, based on what they are expecting out of their financial institution. And then also, you mentioned billboards, like what channel do you even expect to receive information about something like a bank or a credit union on? And I think, even tying it back to what keeps me going, that's one of the really exciting things for me about this space and this industry is because it is ever changing, and like the pace of change, especially over the last couple years, I think is just, it's almost like makes you dizzy, right? But channels, I think there's a place for every channel, but the price that they cost for what they give you, like that return has been a big shift, right? So like, in my opinion, there can still be a place for billboards, but in comparison to some other digital channels, they're incredibly overpriced for what they might return to you. Whereas you, through more digital, personalized, really targeted efforts that we're able to do with technology now, we you can drill down so much more specifically, which just makes your budget go farther.
I mean, dovetailing on that concept of consumer behavior and consumer demand uh, changing or evolving across a period of time, right? My question is, United not only competes with credit unions, because I don't believe in the concept of credit unions competing with credit unions, because at the end of the day, our mission and vision is, let's not have a member go to the other side of the fence, right? Let's all of us
Hmm.
keep it. It doesn't matter if it's us or the credit union next door. It's a movement, right? That's what a philosophy is. So my question is across differentiation. Now
Hmm.
it's in the sea of, I mean, I sound like a broken record, but still, in the sea of sameness, right? I mean, everyone has a checking account. Everyone has a mortgage, auto, HELOC, money market. There's no difference, right? It's almost same. And we tell the exact same story every single time, every credit
Yeah.
union, right? And that won't sail for long, right? We're to compete with the large banks on the one side, the other side with SoFi and Lending Club, and I would say Chime. So how do
Yeah.
you position the brand United to stand out and stay relevant? Because it's the same thing that we are talking about every day.
That is like the $1 million question right now, right? Like, and I think it's something that we're all talking about is, how do you position your brand to stand out? So I think the way that we think about it is really leaning into um, personalized service, speed of service. So how can we meet a member's needs almost before they realize they need it, really fast and with ease. So we really lean into that as a point of differentiation. Um, and I think there's a component of community investment and impact as well. I think really leaning into, that people helping people, which a lot of credit unions are really good at, right? So on one hand, is that really a differentiation point? I think it is to an extent. I think when you can approach community investment strategically in a way that makes sense for what your members care about, it really demonstrates a difference between maybe some of the fintechs or the big banks that, at the end of the day, we are in the consideration set, someone like yourself, right? Like you're positioning United against, like you said, Chime, et cetera. So that's kind of how I think about it, and how we incorporate differentiation into our marketing strategy and our product strategy.
Yeah, that is a well thought out answer, right? Now, as we know that growth is inevitable unless you grow, uh, it's difficult, right? I mean,
Hmm.
the average age of a US consumer is uh, close to 38 vis-a-vis the average age of a consumer in community FI, be it credit unions and community banks is 53. There's a 15-year difference, right? Average US consumer versus our consumers. So there's a need to grow to tap onto different segments. But let me ask this question. So what are your priorities? I mean, are your priorities, is expand your member base, expand membership, deepen relationship, or developing new products? I mean, I know you might tell me, Anurag, these are table stakes. I need to do all three of them. But if you were to rank order one, two, and three, what would that be?
Well, my first inclination was yes, all of the above. But if I had to narrow it down, right? So I think we we take the relationship piece of a membership very seriously. So, I think it can be really, I'll say, easy through different levers to grow membership, um, the count of members. But is that the most sustainable long-term way to do it? So at United, we focus on members that are fully engaged members, and through metrics that measure that, right? So I want to make sure that I'm serving you as a member, and you're using United for as many things as possible. Like, we are your people, right? So I think the relationship piece is paramount. We are very focused on expanding to more members. Like, we want to bring more people into the party. And, one of the ways we're doing that is by looking at, are there geographies where we have a presence already, where we have opportunity, and there is. So we're really leaning into those marketplaces, as well as looking at, are there generations that we can tap into more fully. So, we've done a lot of research over this past year on some of the younger millennials, Gen Zs, and are challenging ourselves to think about, do we have the right product set to meet their needs? Are we positioning our products and services in a way that is best going to resonate, to show that we have the solutions, to help them in the long run?
Yeah.
So just some of the conversations we're having about growth and how we can approach it right now.
Now, Kelly, my next question is, obviously everyone talks about AI, right? But not a
Mm,
lot of people are doing not a lot of people are doing what is required. I've been doing data science for the last 10 years. Right? When I saw the AI revolution coming, it's not new to me because I've been doing it for the last 10 years. But it's very new to credit unions, right?
mhm.
Credit unions still think AI is having a chatbot, maybe talking to your members, or having some magical wind that will automate your entire operations. That's most of credit unions think about AI, or reducing fraud by some magical way. But that's not the thing, right? Uh, AI is real. So with AI and personalization shaping marketing today, again, there's one example that keep on taking is, I don't own a house, but I get HELOC offers every week from my financial institution, and I hate them. This suck. I cannot talk about them; they'll sue me. But yeah, that's reality. So with you don't even need AI. That's basic common sense, right? Now, one step ahead with AI and personalization actually happening right now. I'm not talking about hyper personalization, just personalization. How are you exploring these technologies to keep up the pace?
Yeah. I mean, it's it the effort to keep up the pace is tremendous. I think I am humble enough to admit that the use cases of AI in marketing, in personalization, like, I probably know the tip of the iceberg, and that's okay, because there's a lot of people on my team that are smarter than me to help me do it, right? But, one of the things when we think about personalization that we're striving for is avoiding exactly what you just described you experience. So we're not presenting offers to members for things that are not applicable to them. And we also are using, modeling to predict what both products and services a member might need, and then also delivering it to them on a channel that is best going to resonate. So I think that's where there's so much potential for AI to, really continue to change the game.
It's good that at least you're thinking through that. That's the most important thing. Kelly, we've come to almost the tail end of the interview. I want to ask you a couple of more questions. One is about your journey right now. It took a lot of effort for you to become a CMO. Let's face it, a lot of effort. It's not easy, I know. So, what are the challenges how do you deal with challenges? All of us have different ways of coping up with challenges, right? How do you deal with challenges, and how do you solve for them?
Yeah, so I think that's such a great question. Challenges, they're motivating to me. So I've always viewed challenges as very energizing. Not to say that, like, there are always hard days, right? Like, I'm not that, like, toxic positive person. Like, there's hard days, but generally speaking, I think pressure and challenges and stress are something that um, I think that's part of why I've been able to progress in my career the way that I have, is because I view them as a positive thing. And honestly, like I mentioned the people that I work with earlier, but I think having really strong relationships across your peer group, even within your team, have helped me approach those situations in ways that, like, I learned something at the end of it, even if it doesn't, whatever challenge doesn't end up the way that I like wanted it to. I learned something at the end that I'm going to take into the next thing. So yeah.
Okay, so this was an amazing, very short interview. I loved it, right? Again, thank you for taking your time out to chat with us today. I really appreciate your insights and we look forward to stay connected and chatting more.
Thank you.